story is because it leads us into another word that I want to talk about today. And it's about a tiger and a Buddhist master. And Remy, I got to thank you, Remy, for bringing that session. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. This Buddhist master and his student, they were going and preaching, going from village to village. And one day they heard a big growl. And they turned around, and here's this huge tiger that was stalking them, following behind them. And the student, his inclination was to run, because it's stalking us, it's going to eat us. But he was learning self-discipline, so he decided, I'm going to see what the master's going to do. And he looked at the master, and he says, Master, what do we do? What are we going to do? And the master was very calm. And he said, no problem. There are some options we can do. What I love about this story is it helps us in our own path when we're following our tigers. Everyone in this room has a tiger. I know my friends out there has a tiger when he got involved with a saw. And we all face our tigers. My tiger was 12 years of this. So we're all facing our tigers. What I love about this master pardon me, Father, for I've sinned. But anyway, he said, son, we can do, there's many options. We can get so frightened and scared, and now we freeze, and we don't know what to do. And so we're frozen in space. Now, how many of us do that when we get confronted in the physical world? Well, a lot of times. And he says, and with a tiger, the animal just come and eat you. The other thing we could do, we could faint, but then again, it's going to come and take care of you. Or what we can do is run. Problem is, it runs 35 miles an hour and it catches us in seconds and take you out. We can fight it. Don't we fight our problems sometimes? We can fight it, but it's stronger than we are, and it can take us down. But there's something we can do. And what we can do is go within. We can go to that source energy, we can go to God, and we can trust that the grace of God is sufficient to take care of this problem, and we need to get the heck out of its way and allow it to function in its life. Let's clap for that master. That's true. That's true about every one of us, and it's true about Angelo when I'm facing these things, because I'm here to face these things. We're here on vacation as spiritual eternal beings, and it's a short period of time to enjoy this activity. We're here to enjoy the world, not to fret. So let's turn it over to this divine energy that we call grace, and that's what we can do. Now, what is it you want to do, my son? And he said, well, you're the master, you decide. And so the master turned around, and he went into deep meditation, and he did something, and I'm going to explain what this is, because we've done it for 23 years. Well, we didn't know we were doing it. He went into deep meditation, and what he did, in his consciousness, we can all do this, in his consciousness, he took this terrible situation, supposedly, and made it not so terrible. That he unified with the consciousness of the tiger. If we can believe we can do that. Because we're all one, why not? And he unified with the tiger. And what he put out there was this love energy, this heartfelt idea that I'm one with the tiger, and I want the best for this tiger. This is all done in consciousness, in his deep meditation. Why can't we do this? We can. And so he did that for quite a period of time. The tiger kept coming. The poor student was there shivering in his boots, ready to run. But he's shivering in his boots, but he just stayed put. And the master sat there as the tiger came up to them. And just stayed focused. He embraced what was going on. He embraced this so-called negative activity, which really turned out to be not so. And then the tiger lowered its head and walked off. Wow. 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 That's a metaphor for all of us. For all of us. And that's what grace is all about. That's what grace is all about. And so today what we're doing is focusing on that. But what he was practicing, and this is what I want to leave with you today, he was practicing a Buddhist consciousness that you and all of us have been practicing since we started PLC 23 years ago. And it's called Bodhisattva. Can we say that word? Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. It's a consciousness. It's a consciousness that will teach us how to enable grace to come in our life. It's a consciousness that will open our hearts up. Bodhi-seated, Bodhi's awakening. Sita, heart and mind. It's a way that we can open our hearts and our mind to the situation. It doesn't push the situation away. It embraces the situation. It embraces it with an open heart, with a love energy. It's accepting it for it is, but it's doing this also. It's also putting the greater good for all concerned. The greater good for the tiger. The greater good for our tigers. The greater good of anything that occurs in our life. It's the greater good for all concerned. This is the Bodhisattva, and you've been doing it for 23 years. This center. How have we been doing it? How many of you drive by 26 once in a while, the sign out there that says community college? Mm-hmm. People don't remember this and know this, but I do. I'll take it to my frame, or wherever I go. Is that this center with Jack Geyer and some of the old timers getting together and saying, we need a community college in our community. Our members, our spiritual members have to drive 100 miles round trip to access college. And so this center created what I call an Bodhisattva. We are going to have a community college here. And so they embraced the fact, the negative part, supposedly, that there's no college. And so we got together, and several of us, this, we go to Sacramento, we got Senator McCorkindale to write a bill. It's called 1607. Priscilla Pike from the church, the other church, the Christian Science Church, joined us. And we went over there, we got Senator McCorkindale to write a piece of legislation. And it was an impossibility because the law said, unless you have 500 students, you can't have a community college. That's part of the community college rule. So we got Senator McCorkindale to write the legislation. And we were there, we had to go through 7 of these, I don't know if you've ever had to testify in Sacramento. You're sitting down here and they're up there lording over you. And the state senator hired a lobbyist and who sat next to us. And so here's our senator. I looked on the back and there's Jack and his crew praying. What were they doing? What were they doing? Trusting in the grace. Trusting in grace. Anyway, I can go on with that. That could be a whole book. I'm not going to tell you what happened. It's just that it got passed. We had to take the state senator to court, which we did in Superior Court, but we won. And the bill passed, but there was no penalty in the bill to create the college here. So we had to take them to court, Superior Court, and we won. And I was told just recently that Bill Stewart, who's the chancellor, I thought he was angry at me for all these years. And he told a friend of ours that he was very respectful of what we've done. We got the job done. Jean Hand's in the audience. Comes to me one day and she says, we don't have a children's museum. We need to take care of our kids. She was practicing the conscience of Bodhisattva. And she spent so much of her time creating the children's museum. And she's sitting here now and she takes no credit, she won't for it, but I know that she did that. I know that it's sitting there because one of our spiritual family members was practicing the consciousness of Bodhisattva. The welfare of all. Embracing the problem, but bringing into the problem this love energy, opening the heart and the mind to the greater good of all concerned. That's what Bodhisattva is all about. And I'm glad that we can talk about it today. So I'm going to close with all that. There's a lot of things to do, but I'll have other talks. I'm going to say this. All you have to do is look over on that wall there and see Bodhisattva in action by our spiritual family. It's amazing. And what's ahead of us is more of the same. We're going to continue to do it. Because we're not the 4 walls of a church that meets once on Sunday and then the rest of the week we be ourselves. We need to be out in the community. We need to practice the Bodhisattva in our community. What needs to be done and what can we do to take care of it? And how can we bless what's going on? We don't push away a problem. We embrace the problem. And that's what Bodhisattva is all about. And say with me loud and clear.
And so it is.
Thank you for our first talk.